Now what?
Hi. Hello, Abraham. Thank you for being here.
Can you hear her?
Hello, Abraham. Thank you for being here. And
Can
thank
you hear her?
Thank you, Jerry and Esther, also.
We're just milking the thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
But they do want to hear you.
I'm so happy to be here because I spoke with you in August and it was so unfamiliar, and now it feels like this is where I'm supposed to be. And the question that I have right now has to do with what's next, and it's in the context of, in August, when I spoke with you, and since I've been studying your teachings, I feel like my stream has been moving very fast, and I've been getting in the vortex, and life has been wonderful. And in October, I had an experience that felt similar to what you talk about, a fast-moving stream and then hitting a tree at 100 miles an hour. And at the time that it happened, I don't listen to the news and I don't read the news, and someone had said this had happened and I didn't read the news, and the next day someone said something has happened and I didn't read the news. And then on Monday morning somebody called me on the phone and said, this is what happened. And I heard what they said, and it had to do with the death of a boy who was 16. And because of your teachings and because of my beliefs, I knew he was fine. And I knew that all was well with him. But the manner in which he left was very abrupt and very sudden and very shocking. And it has affected my whole community, my neighborhood, my neighbors, the school. And so I'm wanting to know what's next, because I know he's fine. And what happened to me was I felt like I split. There was a part of me that knew everything was fine, and my body wasn't keeping up with what I believed. That's how I interpreted it. And now 3 months have gone by, and I'm feeling like I'm receiving communications from him. His name appeared on a text message on my phone, and I didn't type it, and I was the one sending the message. And I feel we're planning a celebration in March to celebrate his life. And one of the messages that I've gotten, what it felt like it was from him, was that he's the spark that has started the fire. And that by him leaving when he did in the way that he did, I don't know if he knew he was leaving. I don't know how that part works. But from where he is now, I feel like he's connecting with so many people in my community. And the people who can feel him or feel the source, I feel like what he's doing is he's leading us to source. I feel like he's a bridge for us, because people who didn't believe in source or didn't believe in God knew him. So I'm wanting your help to understand what's next.
Well, it is significant to acknowledge that often a death such as this is a spark, because often it is only then that physical friends begin to explore the question of who they really are, or what is next, or where does someone like that go. We've been saying for a long while, that sometimes in other words, if someone is really, really sick, then everyone says, oh, it is a blessing that they have gone. Or if they're really, really old, then it's more acceptable in your environment. But when someone at what you want to be the beginning or prime or best part of life makes their transition, then you begin asking questions that you otherwise may not ask. And so that is that spark. It happens all the time. You cannot judge the quality of an extension into physical experience by how long it lasts. And so what's next? And we're not wanting to put a damper on anything that you're feeling, because what you're feeling is part of the intention of the source of this boy that you're talking about. But this eternal process of physical and non-physical, physical and non-physical, physical and non-physical, physical, non-physical, it is an eternal process. And so what is next is just more of the same. In other words, this is not something that is so out of the ordinary that now suddenly people who haven't been listening are going to begin listening in a new way. It's that people who are ready to hear are now using that as their catalyst to hear. And it is almost always those who are surrounding the person, who knew this person personally. It's a wonderful thing. It is always a wonderful thing when people who are physically focused have to reach into the non-physical in order to get answers. We are entitling the new book, which is Spirituality. The subtitle is The New Frontier. And the premise of this book really is going to be, for those like you who know us well and those who don't know us at all, the last frontier is the last ditch effort sort of thing, because most humans will do just about everything before they will consider aligning with who they really are, even if they know about the non-physical aspect of them. In other words, people are always looking for one more body part that they can chop off, or one more action that they can take. Heaven forbid, interesting analogy, that I would actually tune myself to the wholeness of who I am. I'll wait until there are no other options, and then I'll tune myself to who I really am. And so very often consciousnesses are being born with the intention of stirring things up in a way that just helps people move along in a faster fashion. So, but we are always, it's interesting, whenever we say something like that, and we always talk about the alignment of the person being part of the reason that it came about, then people invariably begin to worry about their dear children, hoping that their child was not born to wake them up. Yeah. And we say, there are so many things that, in the same way that there is much in your vortex of creation that you could not articulate with much definition, because you put it there so incrementally that as it amassed, some of it is very unfamiliar to you because you put it there piece by piece, and as it became the substance of who you really are, you don't recognize it because you didn't keep up along the way. There is so much intentionality that you set forward into this physical experience even before you come forth. And these are things that, if we were standing in your physical shoes, our conclusion about it would be, I have one path and one path only, and that is to do the best that I can do to align with the fullness of who I am. And if I do that, everything has to work out just as not only I intended it to from my non-physical perspective, but as I have continued to intend it to be from physical. Questions like this, almost always, we can feel it happening around the room now, bring forth the question, well, what about it, Abraham? Did this youngster make his decision to have a early withdrawal into non-physical after he became physically focused, or was it a pre-birth intention? And we say, the pre-birth intention is not specific like that usually. The pre-birth intention is, for a teacher like this one, more correctly interpreted to be, I will be a catalyst to assist others in understanding who they are. And through the path of least resistance, I will find my way of doing that. So usually when that's the way that they find to be the catalyst, it's because they are surrounded by rather resistant people who weren't easily drawn into the vortex otherwise. And that's why you're feeling it a spark in the community, because it's affecting a broader range of people, because he was a significant enough character in the play that they were all playing, and his early departure was so startling that it caused people to begin looking and asking. And there is nothing that brings forth the answers from source more powerfully than a whole community involved in the asking. So that's why you're feeling the powerful potency of it. It's very nice, very good.
And I'm wanting to understand my experience of my. I appreciate what you just said.
Well, what's happening to you? You are not assigned by this person to translate meaning from this person.
Okay.
And we do not feel a pre-birth decision that he would croak and you would channel him. In other words,
no, I wasn't thinking that.
Well, we're just,
okay.
Someone is.
Okay.
But what is happening is you, like so many others, have been stimulated to a more poignant awareness of the oneness of physical and non-physical. In other words, the most significant thing for you to understand, and that you are understanding because you're having an actual experience around it, is that there is no death. What physical beings call death need not be a separating factor. And it is never a separating factor when you know that you are a vibrational being. So what's happening, the confirmation that this is making to you, is that you have moved into that category of being a vibrational being. You now understand that there is no separation, and you have access to the vibration of that which is non-physical, not just this one, but non-physical in general. And so what's next for you is of your choosing. In other words, you get to make what's next.
Okay. I think I'm good.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.